Is no sleep season returning? I think so, guys, because we're getting some insane messages from the people who are probably within the know, and they're basically giving out some insider information to the public for free. And that's what we're going to be investigating in today's video. If Bitcoin rises, XRP will too. It could be that time again. First tweet comes from CZ. Crypto's going to make a lot of money for the country. Okay, I think he's quoting Donald Trump here within this video, guys. And
to make crypto, to make America the world capital in crypto under your leadership.
Which is really going up, right?
Absolutely.
David, that's for you. Thanks. You find them exciting? They might not be exciting, but they're going to make a lot of money for the country.
here it is.
They might not be exciting, but they're going to make a lot of money for the country.
So there we go. Right? Crypto's going to make a lot of money for the country, guys. Wouldn't that mean cryptos will have to go insanely high? Right? That's our whole theory from the beginning of time, that this crypto bull cycle will not be topped. Okay, it will not top out. It's like a abnormal cycle, I would say so myself. Okay, it's not a regular cycle, guys. There's gonna be a lot of twists and turns, okay, incoming, but the ending will only happen when the bubble pops. And for that bubble to be created, it can't just be small. It needs to be the largest bubble out there. This tweet comes from Mike, I think a Bitcoin lover, guys. Okay, trust me when I say this. No one is prepared for what's coming. You guys see, so there's a lot of exciting tweets coming out and about, guys, which tells me the crypto bull market hasn't topped out. Before we talk about why, the indicators are telling us it hasn't topped out, right? So, but first we have to go to Raoul Pal, and he gives out his thesis here, guys. He gives out on why he believes the crypto market hasn't topped out and why we're going to keep going higher. I think it needs explaining that although I see an elongated cycle, it doesn't mean my analysis is correct. Okay, so he thinks it's going to be a longer cycle, guys, than previously, right? It's going to be delayed or more so prolonged. Why? Well, he shows this chart, I think, which is the stock market. And no, it's not a bubble in tech stocks. We are less than one standard deviation from the trend. You can see what a bubble looks like in the late 1990s when we exploded out of the decade-long log regression channel to be multiple SDs from the trend. Nothing to see, move on. Wow, this actually is a pretty insane chart, guys, because this chart shows us that the bubble hasn't even started yet. Like, look at that, right? People already think we're topping out, but this chart says no, the bubble hasn't started, which matches up with what we're stating, because for the collapse to appear, right, for this thing to appear, what do you think needs to happen first? A bubble needs to be created. And he's saying that this is not a bubble, right? It's not even a bubble, because previously it did the same thing. It was in this channel here, a rising channel, and then at some point in time, it just exploded upwards, right? And it's that explosion is coming, guys. That's what you call a blow off top, right? It becomes more parabolic by the day, guys. So again, that's what I think will happen, because in order for the collapse to appear, well, everything needs to go needs to become a tulip mania, right? So this is an amazing chart, guys, which tells us that the best is yet to come. Right? Nothing has even happened yet, basically. Then, which could make sense because it comes back to this tweet from Virtual Beacon, or Bacon. October 28th, rate cut number 1, plus possible QT end. December 10th, rate cut number 2, plus likely QT has ended. End of year, either 4-year cycle ends way higher from here or another 1 to 2 quarters of fun. In all cases, this is the time to be bullish. Shake off the 10 out of 10 sadness ASAP, lock in. Not only do we have rate cuts happening every other month now, but as well as we have liquidity going to be poured into the markets from the Federal Reserve, basically. Right? And this is the formula of moon, guys. What we have waited for, which actually matches up again with what we're stating here. Why? All we need to do is look at this one chart, right? It's called the USDT.dominance chart, and basically on the 5-day, as soon as we go below this 5-day moving average, right, moon has appeared. The cycle will not top out until we grab all this liquidity. You guys see this? Right? All throughout here, there's a bunch of liquidity, but guess what? If somehow we do go for that liquidity, correct, all the way down there, what does that mean? We're below the 5-day moving average, right? We're going to be below the 5-day moving average. Then we have to go to the 6-day and figure that one out. Okay, at that point in time. But again, the FOMO could get crazy to the point where it becomes a domino effect, right? Such as this. Look at this. You guys see how this chart consolidated here for like some time, right? Like a year or two. And then when it started to collapse, look how fast it went. Right? What's happening here? The same exact thing as previously. Consolidation. As soon as we break below, right? It broke through there and it just rampaged downwards, guys. Right? Probably just rampages downwards. And then the bottom is in. By that point, cryptos are insane prices, right? So those are my opinions on why I believe there's still a lot more to come, many more opportunities. Don't be worried. Now, not only we're not pulling anything out of thin air, right? Because there are indicators that back our opinion here. Bull market peak indicators still at the top, and guess what? Not one of them has been hit yet. Hit or not. And these are all the indicators. X, 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 X. And all these indicators. Okay? So what does that mean? Right? Look at this pi cycle top indicator. It's all the way at $200,000 per Bitcoin. Right? Look at this one. 392K for Bitcoin. You guys see that? Are there any others? Let's see. 155K for Bitcoin, guys. What else? Bitcoin's terminal price 187K, 135K, right? 175K to 230K. None of them, guys. And these are all in the upper bound of like 100K, right? North of 100K minimum. Now, do we understand what's going on here? Right? Here comes Tom Lee, who suggests something very similar. And he's an extreme holder of Ethereum, by the way. Look at what he says right here. Okay?
You're going to see a crypto rally into the end of the year, and it really does help to see JP Morgan say they're open to the idea of using crypto as collateral. You know,
we're going to see a crypto rally towards the end of the year. Okay? And it's going to help JP Morgan, basically, right? Because of what the service they're coming out with. Lending out your crypto for collateral. So, this is amazing.
We're 10 weeks before the end of the year, and the S&P's at 6,800. I think it's still a base case then for people to say that in just a typical year, the S&P should gain another 4%. That would put us over 7,000 into the end of the year. And I think that that's sort of the minimum. But because we've got the Fed cutting, and they started in September. They've been on pause all year. That only happened twice in the last 50 years, which is 1998 and 2024. I actually think the S&P, given the skepticism that's been plaguing this market all year, we could do far better than 4%, maybe even 10% into year end.
Wow. Okay, so where does crypto...
So I believe he thinks that, the stock market is going to explode, right? And if stocks explode, cryptos will follow, because liquidity is tied to everything, right? It's all risk-on assets.
Fit in, especially when you're looking at how those currencies are moving versus what's happening with tariff concerns, global trade concerns, et cetera?
Crypto had a huge deleveraging event on October 10th, and part of that was triggered by the escalating tensions with U.S. and China on tariffs and trade. And that was the biggest liquidation event in 5 years for crypto. So there is still those ripple effects, 2 weeks later that are plaguing the crypto market. But I think we're almost through that because...
So he's talking about the liquidation event that just appeared, guys, and talking about this liquidation event, well, Raoul Pal says, all said and done, regardless of what sparked it, Friday was a flash crash. Flash crashes usually recover in V-shapes back to their prior price and range, and usually go on to make new highs shortly after. In this case, we entirely wiped out all accumulated leverage too, which he says higher we go. Right? It was okay. Technically, it was a blessing in disguise that event did appear, but they had to sacrifice everyone basically, right? You know, and it was a manipulated event to say the least, guys, right? And if they do pump it to new all-time highs, it wouldn't surprise me because they got everyone out, literally everyone, by the way, half the trading population, and then they go to new all-time highs, right? Everyone lost on profits, which makes sense, but it's very sinister if you ask me.
A measure like something called open interest for both Ethereum and Bitcoin are at record lows at a time when the technicals for both Bitcoin and Ethereum are flipping positive. So I think you're going to see a crypto rally into the end of the year, and it really does help see JP Morgan say they're open to the idea of using crypto as collateral.
So what are we thinking here, guys? I mean, all of these people are mentioning that, you know what they're mentioning here? They think that this USDT dominant chart will go down there. Okay? They think that it's going to go below this 5-day moving average. That's their opinion. For me, I don't think so. I don't think yet, because we can't front run it. We have to wait until first things first for it to even come down there. We're not out of the storm until we go below this 5-day moving average, because it has held crypto down for a year now. Like, you guys can just check how many times. This is all, each candle represents 5 days of price movement. So that tells you everything you need to know, guys. I don't know, a lot of these quote-unquote insiders, I don't know if they are or not. Some of them probably are, because they're billionaires, are bullish. Okay? That's all I'm saying. I hope great times are coming, guys. And for now, we're in the storm until we're not. But the chart says we haven't topped out yet. So don't worry. But anyways, that's all for this. See ya.